Chapter 3, Lesson 3, Equations in y equals mx form. You will be able to use direct variation to solve problems. Direct variation is a linear relationship is a direct variation when the ratio of y to x is a constant, or m. We say that y varies directly with x. So your constant m equals y divided by x, or you could also say y equals mx, where m is the constant of variation and it cannot equal 0. So in this example, y equals 3x. The direct variation, or the constant of variation, is 3. 3 is also the slope. So in a direct variation equation, y equals mx, m represents the constant of variation, the constant of proportionality, the slope, and the unit rate. So it's really everything in one. The slope of the graph of y equals mx is m. Since 0, 0 is a solution, the graph of a direct variation always passes through the origin. So direct variations are proportional. So letter A. The amount of money Robin earns while babysitting varies directly with the time as shown in the graph. Determine the amount that Robin earns per hour. So what we need to do is pick a point. And I'll pick this point right here. That point is 2, 15. This is our x-coordinate and our y-coordinate. So to find our m, or the constant of variation, we can use y equals mx. We can plug in 15 for y and 2 for x. So 15 equals m, which I don't know, times 2. To get m by itself, we divide by 2, and we get 7.5 equals m. So the equation would actually be, using again y equals mx form, all I'm going to do is replace the m with 7.5. So the amount of money that Robin earns per hour is $7.50. Letter B. 2 minutes after a skydiver opens his parachute, he descended 1,900 feet. After 5 minutes, he descended 4,750 feet. If the distance varies directly with the time, at what rate is the skydiver descending? So our point here would be 2 minutes and negative 1,900 feet because he's descending. Okay, this is our x value and our y value. So we have y equals mx. Y is negative 1,900 equals m, and x is 2. Divide both sides by 2. We get, 1,900 divided by 2 is 950. So we get negative 950 equals m, which means our equation is y equals negative 950x. So at what rate is he descending? At negative 950 feet per minute. Letter C. A cyclist can ride 3 miles in 0.25 hour. So that would be 0.25, 3. Assume that the distance biked in miles, y, varies directly, so it tells us right there that miles is y, and hours is x. The situation can be represented by y equals 12x. Graph the equation. How far can the cyclist ride per hour? So we know the point 0.253. So let's count by fours here. This would be 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours. And we can do the same here, skip 4. 1, 2, 3. So 0.253 would be up here. Okay. And how far can this, oh, you know what? Re-looking at my graph, we can't count by that much. We'll count these by 1. So this would be 1, 2, 3. I can't always draw really small on these graphs, so bear with me. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It would go up until. So 0.25 would be 3. Okay. And if we continued with the pattern, I know it's a direct variation, so I know there's a point at 0, 0. So if I continue with this pattern, then this one would be off the graph. Draw a line. We'll readjust here. Okay. How far can it ride per hour? Well, we actually already have that answer. We have y equals 12x. And I know the constant of variation is 12, which means that's also the answer. How far can the cyclist ride per hour? 12 miles per hour. Complete the following problems. So this time we're comparing direct variations. The distance d in miles covered by a rabbit in t hours can be represented by the equation d equals 35t. The distance covered by a grizzly bear is shown on the graph. Which animal is faster? Explain. Well, we are really finding unit rates. Well, I know the rabbit can travel at, look at the constant of variation, which is right here, can travel at 35 miles per hour. And to find the bear on a graph, look at where your time is 1, go up to the line and over. So the bear can travel 30 miles per hour. So which animal is faster? And explain. Well, the rabbit can travel faster. The rabbit is faster because it travels 35 miles per hour, whereas the bear travels only 30 miles per hour. Damon's earnings for 4 weeks from a part-time job are shown in the table. Assume that his earnings vary directly with the number of hours worked. He can take a job that will pay him $7.35 per hour worked. Which job has the better pay? So we already know right now that $7.35 is the amount for one job, and we need to find this job. You can take any point, we'll take the first one for example, and just divide y over x, because remember, m equals y over x. So m equals 112.50 over 15. So 112.50 over 15 looks like 7.5 or $7.50 per hour. So, which has the better pay? They don't really have titles here. So we'll say, we'll point to the table here and say that the table represents a job with better pay because Damon would earn $7.50 per hour as opposed to $7.35 per hour. A 3-year-old dog is often considered to be 21 in human years. Assume that the equivalent age in human years, y, varies directly with its age as a dog, x. Write and solve a direct variation equation to find the human year age of a dog that is 6 years old. So 3 years old in dog years, 21 in human years. Okay? That would be our xy point. We're going to again use y equals mx and plug in the y and the x value. So 21 equals m times 3. Divide by 3, and we get 7 equals m. So our equation using y equals mx is y equals 7x. So that is our direct variation equation. The second part says, solve the direct variation equation to find the human year age of a dog that is 6 years old. This would be our x value. So now what we can do is plug it in for x. So y equals 7 times 6. Y equals 42. So 42 human years. A charter bus travels 210 miles in 3.5 hours. Assume the distance traveled is directly proportional to the time traveled. Write and solve a direct variation equation to find how far the bus will travel in 6 hours. Now, some of you may wonder how you know which one's x and which one's y. It tells you right here. Assume the distance is directly proportional to the time. That tells me y over x. So y comes first, which is our distance, over our time. Okay, so distance is y and time is x. You're going to use your equation, y equals mx. And we have 3.5 hours. I'm going to put that as a decimal. Oops. And we have 210 miles. So our point is 3.5, 210. And plug it in. 210 equals m times 3.5. Divide by 3.5. And we get 60. So 60 equals m. So the equation is y equals 60x. It asks us to write and solve a direct variation equation. So that's our direct variation equation. And we want to know how far the bus will travel in 6 hours. Remember, time is x. So we're plugging in 6 for x. Y equals 60 times 6. Y equals 360. So 360 miles.